What's up, sad boys? How are we doing? I have a hair in my eye. Fuck that. I have a long list of albums that I would like to put Son v Son in one match I've been dying to do are perhaps the two most impactful CDs on my scene adolescence, my coming of age from first to last, Dear Diary, My Teen Angst Has a Body Count versus Chiodos, All's Well That Ends Well. They both came out around the same time, and they both occupy that emo, screamo, Warped Tour scene with sceners that push them to the forefront of emo royalty, if you will. But I'm not here to discuss which scener is the hottest, which scener is better. What I'm here to find out is if we go Son v Son, what would be the best possible playlist. I try to skip intros, I try to skip interludes, but since both these albums start with one, I guess I could consider giving the first spot on the playlist to a intro. What's the point of having a 25-second song that is noise, that is gibberish? Usually it's to pad out the album. They have one hidden track, and without this, it would have been a 9-song album. It would have been like a 9 or 10-song album. And so if you take the intro, cut it off of one song and put it as its own separate track, then it serves to elongate the track listing itself, making it seem like you're getting a little more music for your buck. And for some reason, a lot of these emo CDs had that at the time. We'll pay for your fucking MySpace demos, and then we'll record a couple songs on top of that, and then
what else you got?
most of these bands didn't have enough songs to fill out a whole CD. But if you're gonna do something like this, what's the best case scenario? It should be something short, not obnoxious, not a skit, God forbid, not a fucking skit. And it should lead into the album, creating a mood or a theme or like a tone that the rest of the album will follow suit on. Chiodos choose to open up their album with a prelude, a slow piano melody coming in through waves. So we're getting imagery of water, of the ocean, and then a piano, making it feel kind of old-timey, like a sea shanty. And that's kind of the imagery I get when I hear this opening. And while it does flow very nicely into the second song, it's not solely dependent on the second song to exist. And it actually has more in common with the interludes on the album. And it sets such a unique tone that only Chiodos has, that I feel like this is the superior 49 seconds. I can give them the intro slot. It doesn't mean shit, baby, because we have Sansa here. But for this album, from first to last, was a very competent post-hardcore emo rock. They didn't really stand out as anything more. The other singer's fine, and when eventually Sonny Moore leaves and they go back to him, I think they still hold together well as a band because they are uniquely competent at their instrumental. Like, production wise, the drums here are not recorded well whatsoever, but there is this quality to them that feels like it's a garage band making screamo music, and it's that DIY feeling that really elevates them. Sonny Moore quite literally is a singer that they found, and they said, hey, you sing really good. We have this record that's almost done. Will you come in and do vocals on it? Giving him a song to just state his case, to say, hey, I'm Sonny Moore. Please welcome me into this band. These lyrics are very reminiscent of like a pop punk, A Day to Remember song. It just happens to be done in this Alisana, Hawthorne Heights, Silverstein style that was popular at the time. It's interesting when you look back at it now and you find that the music is actually a lot more relatable than you thought. It seems like the genre as a whole was all very like souls and survival, and we're always speaking about metaphors about like stabbing and murder and imagery of violence. I know every beat of these two albums by heart, and they just speak so truly to me that I just kind of get lost in them. But I'm also trying to engage in it on a deeper level. I'm glad that the water imagery comes back, that it is worked into the music itself about the ocean. The song itself feels very mythical about like all the Nereids in Greek mythology are like daughters of the ocean, these things that creep beneath the surface that lure you down into it, a shipwreck, a castaway left stranded, X marks the spot. It just feels like a very adventurous way to explore a relationship. The song's dedicated to the girl that can't forgive me. Yet they push forward through this production that only Chiodos could make. The way the piano hits, the way that everything is leveled in the mix is just so perfectly unique that elevates every song on here. Does this shipwreck fantasy sporadically screaming into your face with soft piano parts set you in the mood more than a grand declaration of just hope? What's a better foot forward for the singers and the band as a whole? I think All Nereids has all the best parts of Chiodos in it. It has the soft piano parts, it has the heavy screaming parts, the brilliant guitar work that Jason was doing. I must admit that this one just represents everything that's Chiodos in the first song. And that works out nicely that we have the prelude and then it goes right into the song that it's always meant to go into. While the instrumentals and the production isn't as strong on the From First to Last album as it is on Chiodos. Chiodos is just better musicians than them. I think From First to Last is actually a lot better at writing songs that feel personal, songs that really connect to you. I know we joke about the emo scene, especially at this time, being over sentimental, but when you look through the lyrics, nothing they're saying is unreasonable. I feel like all their concerns, all their worries are genuinely true to like how people feel. Two roads split off from here and my life goes running in opposite directions, exaggerating the barrier between who I am and who I want to be. And it's that note to self that like I miss the old me, I miss who I used to be before I went down that road, before I took that path. And having the two vocals bouncing off one another is really effective in that part. It's just incredibly relatable while also being this very used, inspired punk rock song. Craig's voice comes very strong on this song. I find his screaming not very effective, especially on this one. It sounds really rough and like it doesn't feel natural, like he's forcing the screams out. But the singing parts are very catchy and they kind of linger in your head. This feels a lot more poppy than the song before it, a little more conventional. And Craig is really throwing himself over it. But it doesn't have that personal feeling that Note to Self just brings. Four songs in, and From First to Last is really throwing curveballs with this under 2 minute, very sub bass heavy song about a relationship that just didn't last. This one I would feel is like the most emotional of the songs, and the performances flavor that wouldn't last. You took one bite and then spat me out real fast. I always thought I felt a little MySpacey, especially compared to the songs before this, which do hold up in the lyrics department. I like providing something that is incredibly different than just any song that's out there. The title I feel is a poor representation of what the song is. It seems from the lyrics that they were the one dumped by her. Then the song's like, what, his comeback? Like, okay, you might be breaking up with me, but I liked you better before you were naked on the internet. Millions of people are naked on the internet. Like, let them. It's the internet. Who cares? Who cares? Like, what, you're gonna not like a person because they go to a nude beach? Like, it doesn't change who they are. If you take out the intro, the like very watery oceany intro, which thank you for bringing the water back. If you take that out, this one's actually about as long as I Liked You Before You Were Naked on the Internet. But I feel Chiodos utilizes this time much more much more all well than what ends well. If we're following the story, there was a ship that wrecked. The Nereids attracted it to the sea, and those are the women that will become monsters, or the women that lured him out to seas. It's metaphorical. The women that lured him out to seas, that caused him to crash his vessel, to leave all good reason behind, and now he's marooned, abandoned on an island. This salt water's nauseating. They're on this beach, star-crossed lovers. I like that there's a narrative, and it's to some of the most kick-ass instrumental parts. There's almost like prog rock elements to it, but it's infused with this punk intensity that most progressive rock definitely did not have at this time. And since they were able to just pack so much more in the little time that they had, better. But From First to Last is not done, baby. I really appreciate how unconventional From First to Last is. Every song on here has thrown you something completely different. This one starts off with the vocals going back and forth, adding a very unique texture. It's like they're building up to it as a band. It's like they're coming closer and closer together. The songs themselves are commenting on the writing process of the band writing the album. And while there are 100 songs about this page and this pen and how the words just don't make sense, how they don't come to me, this is one of the best versions of that. There are a couple lines that are a little sappy, but there is a jumping beat in it that I find enjoyable. I didn't know that a song could be overplayed by the self. This wasn't a big contender on the VH1 countdowns, but for some reason this song just hits the same way that an overplayed poppy commercialized song would. It's the perfect gateway into Chiodos. It has a very minimum amount of screaming and very easy lyrics to remember and sing along with. Craig Owens doesn't have one of these voices where it's impossible to sing along with him, but everything he does sing is very unique to his vocal quality. I just find that Baby, You Wouldn't Last 1 Minute on the Creek to be the most simplistic version of a Chiodo song. They completely dropped the theming, I guess except for the song title, but I thought we were on an island, not so much a creek. But is it better than featuring some of my favorite words? Controversial take. I'm taking the From First to Last song over it. You can write a complaint below. And the song that automatically started playing on a million Scene Girls MySpaces, Emily. I feel like either you absolutely hated this song or it was the most touching fucking thing you have ever heard in high school. Almost 20 years later, it kind of hits on both levels. It feels sincere enough that the emotions work, but it's too sappy to really take serious. It's such a weird mode switch in the album, even in the production, just having that very clear, crisp acoustic guitar kicking off the song. My feelings on Emily is simple yet confusing. My feelings are not simple or confused on the words best friend become redefined. This song is pure vitriolic anger towards the ex-best friend. I'm assuming we're redefining those terms, baby. The guitar work feels powerful and large, arena rock-like. This song has it all. It has the piano part, it has the guitaring, it has the screaming, it has the heaviest breakdown to the most singable parts. It's too audacious to be ignored. Nothing brings back that angst, that teen angst that has a body count, screaming about secrets being shared by your friends, by your best friends. Fuck you. Secrets don't make friends. It hits in a way that just aids the anger being exuded by the performers themselves. Now, since Chiodos has 2 interludes, I'm just gonna skip them. I both kind of loathe and hate There's No Penguins in Alaska. Like, the singing parts in it are some of my favorite Chiodos, Craig Owens singing parts, but I absolutely loathe the screaming parts. It's just very basic, kind of lame breakdowns. I'll stop stabbing when you stop screaming. She loves me not. Like, that's fine. She may not love you, but you don't have to fucking kill the bitch. But regardless of what the subject matter is, Craig Owens' voice just hits in such a way where it feels like a desperate scene out, like it's the last goddamn chance he's ever gonna get to use his voice. Both of them almost feel like secondary singles on the album with just how much popularity they got in the fandom themselves. I'm not gonna bullshit. I'm not gonna deny. Chiodos on a good day is just a better band, but From First to Last isn't out yet. They're not done. You know, there's just some things that can perfectly sum up an entire scene in like 2 lines. Even if I spent 2004 listening to Morrissey in my car, I'm better off alone than I would be in your arms. That entire stanza just perfectly sums up the entire mood of the emo, screamo, metalcore era in music. Talking about a breakup, a really bad breakup, throwing lamps through windows of houses, that's not okay. But then they pick it up in this chorus, and the melody that they're able to create feels something akin to like a brand new song or like 4 Years Strong, something that is much more pop punky. They have those pop punk elements in there while also throwing in these post-hardcore elements. And at 2004, this shit is just enough ahead of its time to really make it feel like one of the staples of the scene. I feel like this is a underrated Chiodo song. There's just such like a intenseness to it that they don't really capture in any other song. Not sure what this has to do with anything happening on this album coming after the second interlude. Does anyone rush out into the pit when they start playing this one? We're Populous in 2, maybe dorkier, but it has parts in it that speak so true. They speak so goddamn truth, and that's what I'm here to find. I'm here to find the truth of the scene. I haven't praised it yet, but the bass work on this album is incredible. I am genuinely surprised by each passing track, how integrate the bases and how much work it's doing. It really feels like a driving force behind these songs, and I just haven't given it the proper credit yet. Though it is funny to hear a bunch of like thin ass emo scene boys trying to sound tough. When these bands do sound tough, they have to relate it to like something historical or mythological, like it's a Wild West, baby. I'm the rattlesnake. I survived getting shot in the desert. Bane, bane. Nothing would make my life better than if I got the isolated track Bane, bane, guns go bane. Because that is the funniest fucking line to put in like a tough guy song. The chorus is a breakdown of him screaming "draw to death" after singing "Bane, bane, guns go bane." I think it's hilarious. I think they're kind of making fun of tough guy bro hardcore bands because they like flip it into a breakdown for just a second, so you think it's gonna be this traditional, but then they pick it back up before you have a chance to like get comfortable in it. I know they say no hardcore dancing, but fuck are they tempting. Normally, I don't like long build-ups. I don't like songs that take their fucking time. I like to get down and dirty into it. Let's hear what you gotta offer. Let's get through the verse and get to that chorus. This song says, nay, you're gonna wait for it. And that build-up is gonna be fucking worth it. And while the breakdowns, the choruses, the verse, all of it is working really well here, having that intro to just build up anticipation before breaking into that guitar riff is just so fucking good. It comes in at just the right time. I typically don't like 5-minute songs, but this is so packed with so many movements that just work. I'm gonna skip the instrumental. That's what I've been doing this whole time. I love how cheesy this song is. I know I make fun of the scene for the blood, murder fantasies, the imagery of knives and murder and suspicious acts. Seeing how it really is only one song on this album and is not very evocative of the other songs, which do tend to range through a huge motion of subject matters. I think it's just like the album cover paired with this song just makes you assume the entire album is this murder facade. I'll wear your skin as a suit, pretend to be you, your friends will like you more than they used to. It's the ultimate insult. I'll fucking kill you, become you, and be a better person. Well, I do like Sandy Jenkins, and I wonder who is she be. The Wings of a Pestilence is just like, it's not even close. It's just like such a classic versus like no one's favorite Chiodo song. And this brings us to the last moments on the album, the last chances for either one of these scene staples to get onto our playlist. And from first to last has a very interesting hidden track for us. So while this album proved to be a surprising venture of nostalgia and proved to be more well-rounded and well-written than I had previously thought, Untitled Hidden Track, or as we note in the scene, Dead Baby Kickball 2004. This is a very immature band. This is a very, They proceed to use like rap lingo, like, hey shorty. Like, hey shorty, why are you playing these games? Calling out girls for wearing fake colored contacts, like, nothing wrong with that. They're just contacts, you know? It's like an episode of Cheaters. And I'm the dude with the gun, hitting cameras in the bedroom. Girl, I know what you done. I might be your baby's daddy, but that don't mean shit when every dude on the block knows that you're a trick. I don't know where From First to Last is growing up. I don't know if Sonny Moore is deep from the hood. And then they get a natural rapper to come on here. And I like his verse. If anything, I think his verse is the best part of this song. But then they ruin it by just screaming like children, shake it like a salt shaker. This was long before I Set My Friends on Fire did Soulja Boy. And then just digital 9 Inch Nails inspired industrial electronics playing us off as voices. Fuck you. What a fun hidden track and well worth 5 minutes and 17 minutes of my time. As long as Chiodos doesn't make me cringe, I guess. To Tritsy and Reptile, thanks for everything, closes us off on a very emotional beat. The way the organ plays us out, this empty, just piano melody that just like pulls at your heartstrings. It like really rips you apart, especially with the sincerity that Craig Owens brings. It really feels like it's coming from a genuine place, and the instrumentals are able to bring that sentimental feeling without being overly sappy, without forcing it, with it just being a very sweet, sincere song that closes out the theming of the album. I think it's only right to end it with Dear Tritsy. To Tritsy. I always say Dear Tritsy. It's to Tritsy. And with that, we have our playlist. I was definitely worried that this was gonna be a Chiodos dominated playlist. And I was genuinely struggling with trying to figure out what album to even place against All's Well That Ends Well, because it is that sheerly iconic in my mind. So I went to the only other emo powerhouse CD that had such a profound impact on my development. Dear Diary, my teen angst has a body count. They may not be on the same footing as far as just sheer talent and creativity, but I think both are very strong in separate ways. I don't know. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What songs would you have chosen? What albums would you like to see? Tell me down below. I'm Grayson Todd. Thank you for watching. I'll check you next time. Listen to some good shit. This one was genuinely tough.